If the outcome of this test were based on cool factor alone, Evil would win hands down. In fact, it's such a core brand, it doesn't even sully the finish of its frames with model names. So you'll have to believe us when we say this is the 151mm travel Insurgent rolling on 27.5-inch wheels. All of Evil's full suspension bikes employ Dave Weagle's Delta Link design. And for all of its visual complexity, if you break it down, it's just a single pivot with a linkage-driven shock. Don't think for a second though that it isn't an effective design. While none of the other bikes in this test offer adjustable geometry, the Insurgent has 4 settings. 2 are provided by the asymmetric linkage mounts, and there are 2 additional settings with an angle set, hence the bulbous tapered head tube. With most of the Monarch Plus rear shock obscured by the chunky carbon swing arm, Evil has incorporated a neat Sag Indicator into the Delta Link to help with setup. And because it's specific to the bike, it's much more accurate than using the generic Sag gradients anodized onto the body of the shock. Thanks to the shorter 170mm crank arms, running the recommended 30% Sag with the geometry in the extra low setting presented no pedal clearance issues. This setup does make the suspension feel too mushy for effective climbing though, and robs the bike of zip on rolling terrain. On Evil's recommendation, we fitted 2 extra tokens to the air can of the shock, and this instantly tightened up the suspension response, providing it an altogether more stable ride. An added bonus being that the red O-ring wasn't being blown off the end of the shock so readily. Even with the extra volume spacers in the shock, we still weren't convinced of its climbing prowess. That's because the seat angle is too slack on the large and extra large frame sizes, placing your weight too far behind the bottom bracket when sat down spinning the pedals, especially in the extra low geometry setting. In that respect, the Insurgent is more about surviving the climbs rather than rocketing up them. Get to the top, however, and you're rewarded with its ability to hang it all out on the way down. It's a fun, playful bike that rewards a dynamic riding style, but it can be ridden off the brakes in the roughest terrain thanks to the excellent rear suspension. As boutique beauties go, the Evil Insurgent ticks all of the boxes. It's drop dead gorgeous, is exclusive without being prohibitively expensive, and it's a total riot to ride. Yes, the seat angle is too slack for technical climbing, but that's not what this bike was designed for. Twiddle up a fire road in an easy gear to get to your favourite downhill trails, then open it up. That's what the Insurgent is all about.